Torchwood, They Keep Killing Suzie, the 8th episode of Series 1, is written by Paul Tomalin and Dan McCulloch and starring John Barrowman, Eve Miles, Bern Gorman, Norako Mori and Gareth David Lloyd. So this episode is set in 3 months after the events of Everything Changes, and Indira Varma, who came back as Suzie Costello, a deceased member of Torchwood team. Originally this episode was planned to be an overcommission for use in the case of emergency, but Russell T Davies was impressed with the script and they produced it. I loved at the beginning scene where the Torchwood team were investigating. Kathy, the policewoman, was wondering, does Jack always dress like that while he investigates? And Jack was like, well, would you rather have me naked? And Kathy was like, God help me, that is pretty funny. I like it. So when they went inside a house, they saw a corpse and a word Torchwood on the wall, written in blood, which is scary stuff. And it was Sarah Briscoe, who was murdered by a Pilgrim member, Max Tresilan, who was friends with Suzie. So Torchwood team decide to pick up a gauntlet and resurrect Mark Briscoe, Sarah's husband, who's also murdered by Max, and he didn't know. So Torchwood investigates Suzie's items in the Pilgrim, so Gwen resurrected Suzie, and she was in shock when she's back to life. But before she dies again, Torchwood team sadly learned nothing, but there was something wrong. It turns out Suzie is alive. So while she's on the wheelchair, realising it's been 3 months since she was gone, and she wanted to see her dad, but Jack wouldn't let her. So Jack, Gwen and Suzie looks at the pictures knowing that a girl named Lucy Mackenzie is a surviving member of Pilgrim. Basically, she works at a club called the Wolf Bar. So the team went to the club and captured Max just before he tries to kill Lucy. So Max gets locked up in a cell in Torchwood base. He wouldn't say a word, but in rage when he says Torchwood, I was like, whoa, easy there, mate. So yeah, we find out that Suzie's dad was dying of cancer, and that pissed Gwen off because Jack never asked Suzie about her dad, and all he did was put her in charge of the glove and second in command before Gwen works there. We find out that glove using on Mark resurrected for a bit, just like the other victims, and then died again. But as for Gwen doing it on Suzie, as she's the owner of the glove, it was permanent connection so that Suzie lives and Gwen dies. The only way to solve the problem is kill Suzie, and if she dies, that'll save Gwen's life. So while they're trying to find Suzie and Gwen as they're going on a trip, the team was stuck in the hub, and I find it funny where Jack is phoning Detective Swanson to call for help and she laughed that Jack and his teammates were locked up in their own basement, and Jack was like, and it's not funny. Brilliant. I enjoyed the moments where Suzie and Gwen were in the car and Gwen tells Suzie that she's not a corpse. Plus Gwen was wondering what it's like being dead and Suzie claimed it's just all darkness. But who knows? So everyone figured the number code to get the hub back online and getting themselves out and get after Gwen and Suzie. The scene where Suzie murdered her dad in the hospital is really sad. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't like the stories of someone murdering their own parents. It's really depressing and barbaric. If it wasn't for your parents, you would never have existed. So yeah, Gwen finds blood on her head, like she got shot in the head or something, because they were swapping each other's health by the looks of it. So when they arrived at the dock, Gwen dies and Suzie is strong and so alive. So Jack kept shooting at Suzie to break the connection, but it wasn't working. When I first saw that scene, that was the time where I haven't seen Torchwood episodes, and that was the clip I saw. I was like, holy shit, Jack, what are you doing? Would the Doctor have something to say about it if he was there? But of course, when I watched that episode, it all makes sense. He was saving Gwen's life. The only way to break the connection was to destroy the gauntlet, and as a result, Suzie dies and Gwen is back to life. It's still sad that Suzie dies, but at the same time, she was insane. Jack explains that they're going to run out of space putting corpses in the freezer. So yeah, it explores more of the Suzie story and the gauntlet. What are your thoughts of this episode? Write it down in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.